Hey my friend, this is Darnell Clarke, your industry leader in this career game. Hey, the answer man, your career coach. Today's topic is a serious topic. Today's topic is how to play this corporate America game for women and people of color. But before I get started, I created a document I called the game plan. How to play this corporate game to win, give you the 5 unwritten rules of the game that you probably don't know. Or if you knew, you probably just wasn't engaging in it. Stay to the end. I'm going to show you how to get the free document. It will serve you well. I promise you, my friend. Now, warning, this video is not for everyone. In the beginning, over the past year or so, I was giving content of how to get a job. You know, help you craft your purpose, your chief aim in life, and help you create a resume, then a job search, then an interview. If you're looking for content on that level, bounce. This is not for you. This video is for career professionals who already are in the marketplace. You are already in a career, not just a job. You are a manager. You either a supervisor, leader, or manager, and you have aspirations to get from a manager to a director, from a director to a general manager, C-suite, vice president. You are trying to figure out how to play this corporate game so you can get promoted to the mountaintop. If that's for you, then keep watching. Anything else and everybody else, bounce. Life too short to be wasting time. This is a long video. I have to admit, I tried to cut it down, but I wanted to give you content, not just some high level pie in the sky, dessert. I wanted to feed you and give you meat. So this is a long video, I'm telling you up front. So get ready and prepare for it. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to redo it or rewind the video. The game plan has everything I'm going to talk about and 1,000 times much more. So just sit back and listen. Now, I'm asking you not to get offended. Some of the stuff I'm going to say, you might get offended. I'm asking you in advance not to get offended. And if you do get offended, I apologize in advance. I mean no harm. I take no offense. I give no offense. But if you are sitting there and this is offending you, bounce out. Make no sense to be sitting and listening and watching me and getting offended what I'm saying, because I'm just giving you 2 things. I'm giving you facts and truths. It will not go well with certain people. So I'm asking for in advance, and I'm apologizing in advance, but it needs to be said. Now, I am not going to be using the race card. I'm going to be talking some black-white issues, but I'm not using the race card. It is not racism. It's not discrimination of any kind. I'm going to talk to the truth. You must know the landscape of the career of the corporate game that you plan to be successful. And I'm going to give you the landscape. And I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you the facts. Now, why women? First of all, I'm an African American, so that's why I say people of color. And why women? See, throughout my career, I've always had a relationship with women. I've always hired more women than men. My associates were always women, more than men. And when I've been hiring people over my career, I've helped them go from what I brought them in. And now most of them are managers, senior managers, directors. I got some that's vice presidents, CIOs, COOs, and a couple of them are presidents of medium and small companies. They're big ballers and shot callers. So that's why I'm talking to you, my friend. Now see, listen. You must understand that if you're going to play this corporate game, it is different for you and me. And if you think you're going to go into corporate America and do the same thing, you are missing it. You are missing it. So let me give you one thing right up front, my friend, that business, a business is a game, and you got to look at it as a game. This game will have rules and regulations and strategies that you will have to play in the game. First, let me say that the game is not easy. And if you hear and you're going to try to get to the next level, understand this, my friend, it is not easy for anybody like you that looks like you or looks like me. Right? My guess is that you are a woman or a person of color, and you have some aspirations that want to take your career to the mountaintop, right? You trying to get some pearls of wisdom that I have, and I have it for you. No matter what you have been doing, no matter where you go, you can't get promoted. No matter how hard you try to get coaches, sponsors, and leaders and mentors, to no avail. You've been trying for a long time to get promoted, and now you realize that no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you can't get promoted. If that's you, stay tuned. I got something straight for you. You know, if you want to be successful in this game, you will have to understand this corporate game. You must also understand the unwritten, right, and the unwritten rules of the corporate game. And if you don't, my friend, you will never, ever, ever be successful. So now let's get started, right? From the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics says that there were over 157 million people in the marketplace, and 47% right now are women. In the next 10 to 15 years, that number is going to go up to 51%. In the next 10 to 15 years, 51% of the marketplace will be women. But here is the problem, my friend. Right? Women only hold 18% of the S&P board seats. They only 25% of executive and senior officials and managers. 9.5% of top earners, and only 6% of CEOs in the corporate Fortune 500. This career game, this corporate game is and was not created for you to win. And it's a 10 times worse for people of color. Hey, you heard the saying of, this corporate game, right? Have you ever stopped for a moment to wonder what the heck is the corporate game? So let me tell you what the corporate game is, who are the players of the corporate game, who are the winners and losers, and who game it really is. Yeah, first, let me tell you what this corporate game is. The corporate game, the game itself, is all around building wealth. You might think the corporations are created to produce products and services to the marketplace. No, it's not. It is in the productivity and the creation of building wealth for its shareholders and its senior leadership. And if you are not in the ability to be working every day to help your company make cash, you will never be in the game, and you will never get to the mountaintop. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The corporations are an empire of wealth. And the empire of wealth has an economic creation of success in building that wealth. If an organization is in the marketplace and they're not building wealth, I'm talking about profit. I am not talking about revenue. If you are in an organization, in a company, in a division, in a team, in a department, and you are not building wealth for your organization, you are sooner or later will get downsized, I promise you. And you will never get promoted to another level. An organization will cut its losses on a division or department or team if it's not making profit. If you are just bringing revenue in and they can't get their profit margin, sooner or later, you're going to have a high probability and a propensity to get downsizing or get laid off. And the new word of laid off now is resizing, all right? Or reorging or restructuring. When you hear somebody say that, know this, my friend, somebody is getting ready to get restructured, resized, downsized, laid off, and pushed to the side. I promise you, my friend. So if you're going to play this game, you always want to know that you are connected to producing wealth for the organization. And as any corporation and as any person that's trying to get to the top of the mountain, we try to get to the top of the mountain. And so we're trying to figure out what the top of the mountain is. So what is the top of the mountain? Top of the mountain is when you get into an organization and you go and you get promoted, that top of the mountain is where the air is crisper and cleaner. The sun is brighter and it shines on your face smoother and warmer. That's where you got less gatekeepers. That's where you got less people telling you what to do. You're in a true leadership role. There's less people, gatekeeping, telling you what to do. That's where the most money is. And that's where your dreams are made to come true, right? We always want to get to the mountaintop on everything we do. So if that's you and you're trying to get to the mountaintop, you must play this corporate game, and the corporate game is all around building wealth. That is the corporate game. I don't care what other people saying this corporate game is. No, it's not. That's nonsense. The corporate game is all around helping your company build money, build wealth, cash, that hardcore, crackling, curvaceous, hardcore cash money. And if you can't do that, your promotion would never be in sight. So I'm going to give you some rules and regulations how to handle that thing, right? Next are the players. The corporate game is all around building wealth. So who are the players of the game? So here are the players. Here are the players in order of precedence, authority, and power. Right? Number one player in the game are white men. Number two, white women. Number three, men of color, except African Americans. Sorry to say. Number four player of the game are women of color, all women of color. And number five are African Americans. They are at the lowest totem pole of the game. They're so low in the game. I'm sorry I tell you. They're so low in the game, they got to look up just to get to the curb. That's it. Number one player is white men. Number two, white women. Number three, men of color, except African Americans. Number four, women of color, all women of color. And number five, bringing up the rear, are African American men. Those are the players of the game. So who are the winners and losers of the game? White men are the winners and everybody else are the losers. Sorry. I told you it's not going to be comfortable, man. But you got to get used to this thing. If you're going to play this game, baby, you better know the rules, man. White men are the winners and everybody else are the losers. Whose game it is? It's the white man's game. They created it. They hold all the cards. They make all the rules. And if you want to play this game, you got to play by their rules. Listen. I'm not here to play the race card. It's not racism. It's not discrimination. I'm not playing any of that. I am not playing the race card. I am telling you the facts. And you better get used to it if you want to play this game. Listen, in the back in the day, we used to have this saying, hey, don't hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate white men. They created it. It is their game. Listen, it is their game. They created it. Back in the day when the United States, America was created, people came in over there on the Mayflower. They were white men. They came over here. They dominated America. That's a whole nother discussion. They dominated America and then they fought for our rights. They fought the Revolutionary War and won. Then they fought the Civil War. Yeah, they had some issues regarding Civil War because of black folk. Hey, that's slavery. That's not my discussion here. They fought in the Revolutionary War. They fought in the Civil War. They fought in World War I and won. They fought in World War II and won. Everything we have, everything is created around the United States of America, which is a wealth-producing engine. White men created it. And so when they go to the mountaintop and trying to hire people at a certain level, it's not that they don't want to play with you. They don't have no relationships with you. Listen, they're white. Their mothers and fathers are white. Their brothers and sisters are white. Their cousins, their nieces and their nephews and everybody they know are white. Their associates are white and their friends are white. They might have a few persons of color that they know, but their friends are white and their closest friends are white men. Just like you and just like me. I'm black. I'm an African American. My mother and father were black. My brothers and sisters are black. My cousins and my uncles and my aunts and my nieces and nephews are all black. My associates are all black. Yes, I have white friends and white associates, but my closest friends are black. And my close friends are African Americans male. So if they are at the top and they're trying to hire somebody at that high senior level, they're going to hire somebody that they have a relationship with and they know that they have the ability to engage with. They will hire other white men. Just like you and I. If I get to the mountaintop, do you really think as an African American that all my team will be white people? They will not. They will be people that look like me, just like you. When you get to the opportunity of the mountaintop and you have the ability to hire people, it's probably that you're going to be hiring people look like you. The problem is you didn't create the game. They created the game. They created the game. It is their game, and they make all the rules. And if you want to play their game, you must play by their rules. The problem is you don't really know their rules. This video is going to give you the ability to know their rules. Listen, the corporate game truly is not a white and black issue. It's not. It's a green issue. Listen, companies only really care about that money. If you're a rainmaker, you don't know what a rainmaker is, do you? Listen, if you don't know what a rainmaker, you're not in any game yet. A rainmaker is somebody goes out into the marketplace and bring green dollars into the organization and make it rain with dollars, baby. You are the person who brings that money in. If you are a rainmaker, there's no man in the world, in the company, that's going to stop you from getting to that mountain place. So I ask you, my friend, are you bringing money into the organization? Because if you don't, you don't stand a chance to get to that senior leadership level. Listen, I'm telling you right here, right now, it does not matter what division or department you are in. That division and that department was created solely to help that company make money. And if you cannot help that company make money, the mountaintop will be always a little bit out of your reach. So there you go. You now know what the game is. It's all around producing wealth. Who are the players? Who game it is? And it's all around that cash money. And if you don't have the ability to bring money into that organization, then the mountaintop will always be just a little bit out of your reach. And like any game has rules and regulations of the game, right? And now I'm going to give you the 5 rules to the game. The 5 unwritten rules. You might have heard of them. You might be seeing them, but I don't know if you engage in them. Rule number 1. Rule number 1 is you must understand the corporate America culture game. If you're going to play this game, you better know the rules of the game. Case in point, let me give you an example. If you don't know me, and probably you don't, I am a career coach, but before I was a career coach, I was in IT. I have a computer science degree and an MBA and all these IT certifications, all these leadership certifications, and I went into the marketplace working for large companies, IBM, Ernst & Young, GE, the state of Georgia, Coca-Cola, as a manager, senior manager, director, senior director, general manager. I was the one who was hiring people to work for me. I am the back end hiring authority. I am not a recruiter. I'm not a headhunter. I'm not HR. Never worked in those professions. Matter of fact, HR was finding candidates for me because I was the one doing all the hiring and firing. Right? I had big budgets and big teams, and I was always hiring people. Right? But before that happened, and that's what I was doing, I was hiring a bunch of folk, and I saw everything at a director and general manager level. Yeah, I will always be in these meetings, and I look around, and I always notice that I was the only person around there that was looking like me. Right? So before I became a career coach, I was doing IT. Before I was in IT, my first career, I was a professional athlete. I got a scholarship, athletic scholarship to go to a university, playing baseball, and then after 3 years of playing baseball at a university, I got drafted by the Philadelphia Major League Baseball organization, and I was a professional athlete. See, dreams don't come true. Dreams are made true. And I made it happen because I wanted to be a professional athlete. And before my career ever got started, I blew my knee out and I was done. I went back to school and got all my degrees. But before I went to college, I was in high school. I'm from Michigan. And in Detroit, I was playing both baseball and basketball. See, I knew I couldn't get to the NBA at 5'10", 5'11", so I chose baseball. But in high school, all my accolades was in and all my awards was in basketball. And in the summertime in Detroit, we would go throughout the city and play outdoor basketball, hard court outdoor basketball. It was big time back then, not so much now, but big time back then. And we would go all over the city and find out where the big time ball players are playing and the big time courts in the game. And when we get there, we would find out who's next. We put our name on the list we have next. And when we get to the court, the first thing we ask is, what are the rules of the game? And they would tell you what the game is up to 12. You got to win by 2. You got to make it or take it. You know, the offensive player calls a foul, and you just do it that way, right? When you get to our courts, we had 2 rules and 2 rules only. The number 1 rule was that the game only goes up to 10 by 1. And the team gets to the 10 by 1, you are the winner. And the second rule was the most important rule of all. We said that the offensive man cannot call his own foul. You're like, well, shoot, man, if that's the case, then the defensive man was always just fouled and you can't go to the basket. Nah, because when they had the ball, you fouled them. No, we was working on something. See, in high school, to play the game and to be a starter on our high school team, our coach believed in defense wins championships. If you could not D somebody up, and when we say D up, that means we're not helping you. You got a defense, your man, one-on-one. And you cannot be expecting any help. And if you cannot defense your man by D'ing him up, you would not play with us in the summer, and you would not play and start on a high school team. We were working on something, man, so you couldn't come to our court and try to change the rules. Nope, you have to understand what our rules, play by our rules, and win. We never lost on our court because we always defense the man up. Man, did we defensive man up. And next thing you know, 15, 20 minutes later, game over because we D you up so hard, you couldn't score. Just like you, my friend. So I ask you, my friend, do you know your company? Do you know the culture of the company? Do you know what products and services the organization does? Do you know the revenue and what customers and clients and competitors? Have you ever read their annual report so you can see the strategic plan? Have you done that? Have you done any of that? If you have never done it, you never would understand your organization. But mostly, do you know the culture? The culture is all around the function and the behaviors and how the organization really does its business. So when you look at the board of directors, do you see people look like you? When you go to senior leadership meetings, or if you invited to senior leadership meetings, do they look like you? Does organizations outside your company recognize that your company is one of the best companies to work for? Does your CEO talk and support the affinity groups? The minority affinity groups. If none of that is happening, you will never ever get promoted at that level. And if you don't see anybody look like you in senior leadership, roll out. One of the reasons why you haven't got promoted or got to the top because you probably haven't fit in with the culture. And if you're not fitting in with the culture, it's probably not a good fit for you to get promoted for advancement. Rule number 1 is that you must know the rules of the game to your organization. Rule number 2, my friend, results crushes effort every single time. Effort is one of these things that you like, you know what? I put all my effort in. I put 110% in the effort. Okay, I didn't get it done. I didn't get it done the way I was supposed to, but you still should be giving me some type of kudos because I put effort in. I know that's the whole generation called the millennials. See, they were raised right now by parents that for some reason or another didn't want to keep score when they're playing sports. Everybody get a participation trophy. Nobody is in first or second place, and everybody is happy. But then when they get to corporate America, then everything changes. In the corporate game, we do care about the winners and losers. We do care that you produce results, and we don't care if it took you all day long and you didn't get it done. You put all that effort in, later fall out of that. Listen, my friend, results trumps effort every single day. Right? It really does. It's all around execution, right? It's all around execution. And so if you cannot perform at a level and execute, you will never, ever, ever be successful in this corporate game. So this is what you need to do. It's called execution. Say what you do and do what you say all the time. First thing you do, you must know and understand that you have to be in this business, solving business. You must solve problems for the business. If your division, your organization is not in the ability to solve problems, you'll never get promoted. Here's something that you need to understand. You must solve the problem, and then you must connect your goals to the overall organization goals. You must set goals. You must identify your boss's goals, your boss goal, all the way up to the highest level. Let me give you a little chicken nugget on the side. If you cannot identify of what you and your team is doing and how it connects all the way to the top initiatives of the company, revenue producing initiatives, you must connect it all the way down to what you're producing, what products and services that you're producing. If you cannot connect it to the top revenue producing activities of your organization, you'll never get to the top. You'll never get promoted, and everybody will start sidestepping you. Remember, you are different. You cannot be doing the same thing that a white dude do. You got to do something different. You got to be heads and shoulders better than your white counterpart. Because if you don't, you're not going to get there. Because remember, the only way they're going to play with you, you got to give them a reason to play with you. If you just the same thing as a regular white person, a white man, they're going to choose a white man because that's who they're accustomed to engaging with, right? Goals. You must connect your goals to the highest level and make sure you connect your goals to your boss's goals. Then you need to develop a plan and execute on that plan. See, one of my strongest strengths is that I'm goal and result orientated. You go into my office, you'll see my goals all over the place, man. And every day I come to work and I ask myself one question. My activity that I'm doing, is it moving me closer to my activity, my goal, or is it moving me away from my goal? If it's moving me closer to my goal, I keep going. If it's moving me away from my goal, I stop it and make sure that I get no distractions, because you cannot perform if you're distracted, right? So make sure you have a plan and you're engaging in that plan. The next thing is you need to measure and track everything. One thing I recognize that what gets measured gets accomplished, but what gets tracked gets done. You measure and track everything. You measure and track your staff. You measure and track your goals every week. You ask the question, everything that I was supposed to do, did I get it done? Did I get it done? Here's what I was supposed to do. Here's what I actually got done. Did I get it done? And lastly, I need you to fail fast. Don't be so freaking scared to fail. I need you to fail fast. I learned more from the times I failed from the times I was successful. You fail fast, right? One of my another attributes is that I have no fear of failure. So I'm going to do things I probably have never done before. And if I fail, I learn from it and I continue on. Because you, my friend, are listening here to me right now because you are a person who believes in continuous improvement, right? And lifelong learning. That's what you are, and that's what you have to bring to the table. Rule number 2 is results crushes effort every single time, my friend. Rule number 3. You own your own career. You own your own career, right? Not the company, and you had to build your brand, right? Here's the thing. The concept of lifelong employment is over. It's over. It's gone. You're going to get downsized, laid off sometime in your career. Hey, get used to it. See, back in the day, you used to be able to go to an organization. They would help you do all that thing, and you could stay there all your life, right? They will always bring you in, give you 2 years of operations, 2 years of finance, 2 years of sales and marketing, and then 2 years of international or something like that, right? And after those 8 years, you'll be a well-rounded professional, and you will be able to go wherever they send you. Not today. Today, you're responsible for your own career. You're responsible for your own training. So let me give you another chicken nugget on the side. Take 1% of your gross income, 1% of your gross, and spend it on yourself. Personal development, books, programs, workshops, seminars, and spend it on yourself. So if you're making $100,000 a year, 1% is $1,000. You take $1,000 and spend it on yourself. Start reading books. I need you to start reading. I can't tell you how many leaders I know don't read. Reading is fundamental to your success. And remember this, a person who does not read is no better and no different than a person who cannot read. You are the same today as you will be tomorrow, except the books you read. So I want you to read 2 books, 2 nonfiction books every single month. 2 nonfiction books every single month. That's what I want you to do. And take that 1% and start going to workshops and seminars and online courses and online programs. You will outstep and outpace everybody around you because no one is doing that. That's what I did. That's why I outpaced and outstepped all my competitors, all my co-workers. I just blew past them. And I'm like, why that dude going so fast? Because of that. Right? And so it is your responsibility. I know millennials, you want to come to a job, get training, get mentored. I'm sorry. They don't do that now. You got to do it on your own. I'm sorry, but that is the game. And if you're going to play this game, remember, you got to play by their rules. Right? And so part of you building your own career, because your career is your own hand, you got to build your brand. And part of your brand is 2 things. Executive presence and competence. I know everybody talk about executive presence, this, executive presence, that, later for all that nonsense. Executive presence is 2 things, right? It's 3 things. Executive presence is more than what you say, how you look. Yes, it does matter how you look. You ever heard the saying, how you look speaks so loud I can't hear what you say? Or you only get a first time to make you never get a second time to make a first impression? Yeah, all that's true. You know what I noticed something? In these big companies, IBM and Ernst & Young and GE and Coca-Cola, from a director position and upward, they all look the same. And you know they're all men, right? White men. They all look the same. None of them overweight. Yeah, some of them got beard, but they're really trimmed and neat and groomed. They all look the same, man. Like, wow. Right? So it's a look. Because they're looking for called executive presence. So here are 3 things that you need to engage in executive presence. How comfortable are you with going in front of top leadership, being the board of directors, top leadership, clients or customers, and be able to talk about your company's directors? Are you comfortable doing that? Are you comfortable and polished enough to get in front of people and speak all the time? Are you have the ability to be dynamic enough for you to always be in front of people? You must be in front of people talking. And if you do not have the ability to do that, you will never get to the top of the mountain. The people I see in corporate America, in those companies that I was working for, the people that I see that was getting promoted were the ones that can speak, that can talk, that can present themselves and present other stuff around them, and they had that look, right? If you can't do that, the ability to get promoted to those senior leadership roles will be always out of your reach. And then the second part is you must demonstrate competence. I'm not saying you are to be competent around everything in the organization, but what you are responsible to be doing, you must be competent at doing that. You must be great at what you do. You know, I didn't say good at it. I say you must be great at what you do. Because if you don't, you will never get to the mountaintop. You got to be great. And you cannot be great at work unless you first master it. So what is greatness? Greatness is the ability to be just flat out better than everybody else. You cannot be great unless you first master your job. So what's mastery? Mastery is having an all-inclusive knowledge, body of knowledge at work, in your job. You hear me? An all-inclusive body of knowledge at your job. So you can't be great until you first master it. You can't master it until you first start loving your job. You can never love your job until you first become good at it. You'll never become good at your job until you first start liking it. You will never like your job until it connects to your strength. That's right, your strength. You should know what your strengths are, where your strengths lie. You should know where your strengths lie and what you like to do. And engage what you do well, because it's part of your strength package. If you are not working every day in your strength, you will never be successful, my friend. Ever, 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 ever. You should know your strength. And you would never know your strength unless you're doing your one thing. Yeah, we were all created to do one thing. You were created to do one thing, to be in one industry, one functional job, and stay there all your career until you retire. That's why I like professional football and baseball and basketball coaches. They recognize they wanted to be a coach in their 20s, and now they're in their 50s and 60s, and some of them are 70s, and they're still doing that one thing, being coaches. That's what you should be doing. And you will never find that one thing until you discover your purpose, your vocation. So I ask you, my friend, do you love your job? All right, you say yes. Let me ask you one question. If you love your job and you had all the money that you ever wanted for you and 3 generations, and you will never need any more money ever again, will you still be at your job doing exactly what you're doing for free? That's the key, for free. And if you say, no, I'm not going to be doing that for free, then you truly don't really love your job. That's competence. You must be competent. That's rule 3. You own your own career, my friend. So there you go, my friend. So rule 4, you must have an intentional plan to get promoted. That's right. You must have an intentional plan to get promoted. You cannot get ahead if nobody knows what you do and your name, and knows exactly how and what you do. Right? You can't get ahead. How well you do your job is important, but how well you do your job is not the only criteria to get you promoted. To get promoted to a senior manager, director, and higher, most of the time, it's going to require more than one person's signature on it. And the only way you're going to get promoted, other people outside your boss have to know you and what you have been doing. So if you're going to get promoted, you must create an intentional plan to get promoted by using a piece of pie. It cracks me up when I say a piece of pie. A piece of pie. P-I-E. You must engage and use the PIE principle, my friend. P-I-E. P for performance. You must perform at a high level all the time. You can't make mistakes. You don't get a second chance. Not for you. White men, yes, but not for you. You get one chance and one chance only. You must perform at the highest level all the time, but even perform at the highest level will only get you 10% of the way to get promoted. The next is image. I for image. Image is more than how you look. Image is what people say about you. Go find and see what people are saying. Your image precedes you. People are talking about you. Go find out what they're talking about. Are they talking about like you're a slacker? You come in late. Everything you do is late. You are not dependable, reliable, or accountable. Right? You're not a game player or a team player. You come to the meetings and nothing is prepared. Right? You always talk about problems and never give solutions. If that's you, go find out what people are saying. Because if your image is not intact, can't get promoted. You will never get promoted. That image will give you 30% of the way. Now you 40% of the way. The other part that gets you the rest of the way to promoted, which is 6%, is exposure. You must get the right exposure. So let me ask you, my friend, does your boss knows what you do? Does your boss's boss knows what you do? Does people outside of your team know what you do? Does people outside of the organization knows what you do? Does people in the industry knows what you do? Because if they don't, you will never get promoted. I promise you, my friend. Here's something I need you to do. Get on projects and initiatives that nobody else want to do. On the hard projects. On the projects that will take your organization to the tipping point. Find out one of the top initiatives of the organization and get yourself on it. Get your team on it, get yourself on it. Because I told you once, I'm telling you before, if you cannot connect to those high level revenue producing activities, initiatives, you will never stand in the ability to get to the mountaintop. That's what you need to do. Let me give you two examples. Let me give you the example that propelled my career. When I first started working for IBM, I worked for IBM 3 separate times. But the first time I came to work for IBM, they brought me in as a project manager for the Olympic Games. Back in the day, IBM was doing the Olympic Games, doing its IT. All the information technology for the Olympic Games back then came from IBM. And so they wanted to take the ability to perform at that high level. And so they hired me as a project manager for the Olympic Games. Before I got there, they had 4 other project managers. Back then, IBM still had a concept of continuous employment, right? They wasn't laying a lot of folk off back then, right? But before I took the position, 4 project managers came before me. 2 quit and 2 got fired. Yeah, I know, man. So I ran to it. Everybody running from it, I'm running to it, right? My first meeting, exposure. My first meeting, in that first meeting was the City of Atlanta mayor, the state of Atlanta, the state of Georgia governor, the governor of Georgia, the mayor of Atlanta, the governor of Georgia, the head man for NBC, and the head man for IBM at the time was Lou Gerstner. Yeah, in that meeting, big baller shot callers in that meeting. I was introduced to the team and everybody introduced themselves and I was there. They knew my name. And make a long story short, I pulled that baby off and they promoted me twice within 18 months, right? Because everybody knew my name, the exposure was something crazy and I pulled it off. Everybody running from it, I ran to it and it propelled my career. On the other side, years later, I was working for IBM. I was working for GE. GE had the ability to expand, right? I told you before, if your organization is not bringing profit into the organization, you and your organization will always be susceptible to getting downsized and getting outsourced and laid off, right? My division was no different. We had a division and the division was like 2,000 people. And what I was doing roughly had about 50, 60 people. And because we were producing revenue and not producing our profit margin, GE decided to close that business up, shrink it up, and move it off and sell it off and do whatever, right? And so I had to get rid of my staff and downsize my staff. And so I was looking for another opportunity within GE. So I looked and engaged to the high level executives that I was producing products and services for. So I called them up. I got on his calendar and it was like a phone interview. And so I was trying to explain who I was. And before that, he stopped me right away. He like, who are you? You know, who are you? What's your role and who's your boss? Right? I told who I was, I told what my title was, and I told who my boss was. My boss was a general manager. I was a director. And he said, yeah, I've heard of your boss. I never heard of you. I said, who do you think that was producing all the products and services, 25, 35 million dollars a year to your products and services to your end customers and you? Who you think was delivering all that? He said, I thought your boss was. I said, my boss is a general manager. You don't do nothing at that level. I was doing it. He said, really? He said, then how come I never heard of you? I said, my boss wanted to be the point person, and everything we did, we piped it through him. He did all the presentations, but everything that was produced, it came from me and my team. But for me, he said, how come I never heard of you? How come all the presentations and everything, I never saw your name? All the meetings we had in Atlanta, because he wasn't in Atlanta and everywhere in the world, you were never there. How come I never heard of you ever? I said, hey, that's how my boss wanted to roll. He said, I'm sorry. This interview is over because I don't hire people I don't know. Yeah, I had no exposure. See, I believe in execution. I wanted me and my name to be associated with execution. And I did not go and made sure that my name was getting out. And so when I was engaging with my boss, I wasn't making sure that, my name was on anything and had me go to those meetings and everything. Hey, all I was doing was executing. And so if you cannot get that exposure, you will never, ever get that promotion. Rule number 4, you must have an intentional plan to get promoted. Rule number 5, here are the top skills you must have and you must master to be able to get to that senior leadership role, right? The 3 skills. Skill number 1, you must have and master it. You must be able to speak in public speaking. I know. You're going to like, man, I don't like doing public speaking. I did not either. And for half my career, almost 3/4 of my career, I was always ducking and hiding. I didn't want to do no public speaking. And when I was forced to do it, I was the worst at it. Yeah, man. No. You have to understand that you got to go before either your boss, your boss's boss, senior leadership, board of directors, clients, your customers. You have to be in front of 1, 2, 5, 10 people. You got to do it all. You have to. And if you don't have any confidence in it, you won't ever be successful. So if you don't have any confidence, then take that 1% that I showed you to do and now go and now put it in yourself. Go get courses and classes and go to organizations like Toastmaster. Start buying programs and start doing public speaking. Listen, you could do all that training all you want, but at the end of the day, the only way you're going to get good at public speaking is doing public speaking. So start speaking. And don't worry about you botching it or being so horrible at it, because I was too. And since technology is the way it is now, you got to do like I'm doing now. You got to get ready and get used to being direct in front of the camera. Right? That's the game right now. I told you, if you're going to play this corporate game, you better know the rules of the game and you better play them. I'm sorry. Right? That's the first skill you need to have. The second skill you need to have, must have skills. You must have a strong financial acronym. You must understand profit and loss. You must understand balance sheets. You must understand all that. You must understand the P&L. You must be a P&L leader, right? Profit and loss leader. I told you, those are the game players. If you're not in that game, you'll never be successful. You must be able to understand profit and loss. I don't care if you don't have a financial degree. It don't matter. You must understand where the money's coming in, where the money's going out. You must be able to bring that money in and have it expanded into your organization. I told you once, and I told you now, it's not a black and white issue. It's a green issue. If you don't understand the financials of your team, of your business, of your organization, you won't be successful. Yeah, you'll have a financial analyst, but you sit with that financial analyst and you tell that financial analyst, walk you through it like you're a two-year-old. So you can see and understand where that money comes from and how that financial avenue is put together. So you can read all the financial spreadsheets and everything. And if you have to put it together, then you can put it together. Right? You have to do that, my friend. And number 3, you must be able to execute. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. You only have one chance to perform. You must execute. You must be a high say doer. You must do what you say and say what you do each and every day, all the time. You cannot ever fail. I'm sorry. I know you say God fail fast, but you only get one chance at this, man. You only get one chance. You fail, learn from it, keep going, keep moving forward. Execution doesn't mean you're going to create the proposals, the project plan, the presentations, then give it to some other division, some other team to do it. No. You create all that, you step forward, and then you be the one who is responsible to deliver it. You're the one who is accountable. You're the one that's going to execute. Let them know that you will do it. And if there's a big problem in the organization and something's going on, you step forward and you say, I'll get it done. You do that, I promise you, you'll be heads and shoulders above everybody else. That's rule number 5. Those are the must skills you must have in the organization. Now I'm going to give you a bonus rule. I'm getting closer to the end. I know you've been here for a while. I thank you for that. So let me give you a bonus rule. This corporate game was not created for you to win. Period. So change it. Change the game, baby. Change the game. Listen, the corporate game was created by white men for white men. They have all the rules. They make all the rules. They have the rules. It's their game. It's their cards. And they dish the cards out as they see fit. And if you want to sit at the table and play their game, you must know the game. And whatever cards they deal, you got to play them as is. Yeah, that's true until you get to a certain level. Once you get to a certain level, director, senior manager, director, and higher, change it. That's right. Change comes from the very top. I say change it. What does that mean? When you get to the top and you have the ability to start hiring people, you start hiring people that look like you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You hire people to look like you, my friend. You hire them. You train them. You teach them. You give them the most that you can. Right? You give them high exposure. You give them high initiative projects. You pay them well. You give them increases and bonuses. You make sure they are successful. And when they expand and move past you, you check your ego at the door and you be happy for them. You don't be a gatekeeper because they're going to have what you didn't have. Nobody told you what to do. Nobody told you how to do it. If you're going to get to the mountaintop, you are responsible to help your fellow sister or brother. I'm talking to you like you are my own sister. This is exactly what I would tell my sister. You are my blood now. If you are still here, I thank you for that, my sister and my brother. So I'm telling you, it's your responsibility to do them. To whom much is given, much is required. You start helping them. You check your ego at the door, and if they bypass you, great. Because I believe in sowing and reaping. Whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. I want you to plant a shade tree under somebody that you would never sit up under. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You help them. It's your responsibility. You change the game. The only way it's going to change is got to change through you. That's what I did. That's what I did, man. When I first got the opportunity after the Olympic Games, and they hired me, IBM hired me, and they promoted me to leadership, to management, and then from IBM to Ernst & Young to the state of Georgia to GE, I was always in a hiring authority capacity, and that I start hiring people that look like me. Now, I couldn't hire African American males in IT because there were none. I'm sorry to say, we can't even, that's a whole, I'm not even gonna talk about that, right? So I was hiring, so if I had to hire, 10 people, 6 of them were women or people of color, for sure. I did that for every organization I had. Yes, some of the senior leaders like, man, you got a really diverse team. Yes, I do. And I make sure that happens. And I trained them. I taught them everything. Everything I know, I gave it to them. I gave them and I pushed them into the high initiatives. Even when they didn't want to go kicking and screaming, I pushed them out there anyway. I knew that they had to understand this executive presence. They had to get used to doing presentations. They hated it. I pushed them out there anyway. And as they got better at it, they started having the ability for them to get promoted. And now, like I told you before, these ladies right now are senior leaders. They're senior managers. They're directors. Some of them are VPs. Some of them are CIOs. Some of them are CEOs. Some of them are presidents. All of them came from me hiring them at a low level, and I pushed them up, and now they're big baller shot callers. That's what I need you to do, my friend. That's how you change the game. Change it. It's your responsibility to change the game, right? It's your responsibility to change the game. So now let me leave you with these last things, right? I need you, my friend, to always have an exit strategy. Yeah, I know you don't go to any role or any business or any company thinking and knowing I'm only going to be here 2 or 3 years and I'm going to leave. But listen, from the Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the average life cycle of a job is only 5 years. Every 3 to 5 years, you will be looking for another job. You're either going to be looking for another job or you're going to be looking for another role. You're not going to be able to stay in your role longer than 3, 4, 5 years. So you got to get used to it, my friend. So every 3, 5 years, you got to be ready for it. So get used to that. So what is an exit strategy? An exit strategy gives you the ability to remove yourself from your current position with a severance package as easily and smoothly as possible. Let me talk about severance package for a second. I'm not sure when you negotiate your salary coming in the door, you negotiate your severance package. I want you to start negotiating your severance package before you come in the door. You're like, what? Yeah. Now, the football coaches and these athletic football, baseball, basketball professional coaches do it all the time. They know up front, if you fire me before my contract is over, here is what you're going to give me as far as a severance package. I want you to start negotiating up front before you come in the door your severance package. So if they fire you, your severance package is already XYZ. No matter what, no matter where, this is what you're going to give me. That's right. You got the ability. You at that high level now. Start negotiating like you're a big baller now. You start negotiating the severance package before you come in the door. So the exit strategy is to have the ability to remove yourself without destroying or burning any bridges from your boss, your professional colleagues, and anybody in your organization, so you can land on your feet when it's time. I told you that I have, at the end, was going to tell you a little bit about my game plan. In the game plans, give you the extra strategy. It gives you detailed instructions to that extra strategy. Stay to the end. I'm coming there. You're going to love that. You must have an exit strategy every time. So if you're in your current position right now, you develop an exit strategy. Your exit strategy is like, I'm trying to get to a certain level. And if you don't, and you've already talked to your boss how to get that level, and if you don't see the ability you get in that level, that's how you engage your exit strategy. There ain't no sense staying in the organization if you're not going to get to that mountainside. Because remember, that's what we want to do. We want to get to the mountaintop. And the second thing I need you to understand is something I'm going to leave you with, is that no one reaches the top by themselves. I need you to find coaches, mentors, sponsors, that's going to help you get to the top. Coaches are the people who's going to, is a temporary situation. They're going to help coach you through a few things. And when you get that information, the coaching relationship can end. Then a mentor in or outside the organization, preferably inside the organization, understands the terrain. The ballers, the people you need to engage with, the people you need to talk to. He and she, preferably he or she, is going to tell you how to handle the terrain, right? And then there's a sponsor. Hoo-wee! If you don't do anything else, you try to get you a sponsor. A sponsor are the people who talk on your behalf to senior leadership. A sponsor will take your career to the mountaintop faster than anything else. A sponsor is where you will be able to sidestep and bystep all that other hard climbing the mountaintop. Right? Let me tell you the significant difference between a mentor and a sponsor. Mentors you choose, sponsors chooses you. Yeah. Let me give you a story, an example. I told you the story about my IBM. I came in with IBM with a project manager, did very good on the Olympics. They promoted me twice in 18 months to a higher level manager. Right? And then one day I'm sitting in my office, I get a phone call. And the phone call was from my boss's boss. 3 levels up. My boss's boss. My boss's boss. 3 levels up. And so he wanted to meet me. He's from someplace else in the country. He was coming to Atlanta just to meet me. And so I hung him like, why he want to meet me? See, when you say his name, man, the angels in heaven scream. You say his name, and next you know you hear all this. You know, that's right, man. And so he called me and he wanted to meet me. And so the day came and he didn't give me any instructions. He didn't give me the ability to know what the meeting's about, no agenda, no nothing. So I walk into the conference room and he's there already. And he comes up, he stands up, he puts his hands out, he shakes my hand and he said, hey, Darnell, thank you for coming here. Hey, I have heard great things about you. Whew! Great things about you, Darnell. You only been here for a couple years. He said, what do you want to do here in IBM? What do you want to be when you grow up in IBM? I like, okay, yeah. I said, I want to be a global general manager. He said, see, a global general manager, IBM at the time was in every industry, every market, doing everything. Right? And so what IBM used to did was take the world and slice it and dice it in regions. You know, you have North America, you have South America, Central America, the EMEAs, and then they slice it and dice it. And a global general manager will have responsibility to part of the world. He had something like, IBM had 300,000 people working for him. So you have something like 80, 90, maybe 100,000 people working for you. Your budget was like 500 million or more. And you're delivering billions and billions of dollars to the product and service, to IBM and to the organization and to the industry and his clients. Big baller shot caller. True story. He said, okay, Darnell, I'm gonna help you get there. He said, you coming out of IT for you is over. He said, over the next 8 years, we're going to give you 2 years in operations, 2 years in finance. Sound familiar, right? 2 years in operations, 2 years in finance, 2 years in sales and marketing, and 2 years in international initiatives. What do you want to do first? I said international. He said, okay. He said, the reason why I'm doing this, true story. He said, the reason why I'm doing this, he said, I have a feeling that one day I'm going to be working for you. I'm like, what? He said that. He said, one day I have a feeling that I'm going to be working for you. And so when you get there, I want you to remember me. I'm like, what the what? Yeah. He said that, right? And then off I went. And so before I went to the international started projects, I guess that's where I started going in Europe. I started living in Europe 3 or 4 years. Before I got there, he said, the next step is that I want to engage you with my executive administrator. And I want you, and he's going to help you craft your dossier. I'm like, what the heck is a dossier? He said, first I want you to go get 4 or 5 suits. Here is our professional photographer. Go there, and they spent all day taking photos, taking pictures. We took all those pictures, and then we start crafting my dossier. See, this was before the internet and all these, ability to do everything online. Everything was still paper, and they created this big fat binder, a beautiful leather bound copy called my dossier. And then my sponsor was taking my dossier to leadership meetings, to succession plan meetings. If you've never been to a succession plan meeting, then you're not in the game yet. Succession plan meetings is where these big baller shot callers start identifying people to promote to the higher level opportunities. And if you're not having the ability to get to that level where somebody is speaking on your behalf, you can't get promoted into that level. So my sponsor was taking my dossier to the senior leaderships and getting me ready for a global general manager. Yeah. You cannot get to the mountaintop by yourself, right? Remember, mentors you choose, sponsors chooses me. And the way I went to Europe, and I lived in Europe for a while, and like a crazy man, I left IBM. The marketplace started to hear my name and started throwing all this cash at me, and I left because of money. Oh, my sponsor was not happy at all, my friend. And from that point to the time I left corporate America, I never got a sponsor ever again. Never got a sponsor ever again. A sponsor would take your career to the absolute mountaintop. So let me recap, my friend. Rule number 1 was you got to play the game. Rule number 1, right, is that, hey, you got to understand the game to play it. Rule number 2 was, hey, sorry. Rule number 2 is you must be able to have results. Results crushes effort every single time. Rule number 3 was, hey, you must build your brand. You have your career in your own hand. Rule number 4 was all around making sure that, right, you have to have an intentional game plan with the pip to get promoted. And rule number 5 was you had the ability to have those 3 skills you must have, and you must have to build your brand. And without those 3 skills, you will never be successful. And then the bonus rule is that change the game when you get to the top. Right. So there you go, my friend. So if you I know this was a long video. I told you before I have something special for you. It's called the game plan. It is the game plan. It is the 5 rules that I just went through, but it's meaty. It's instruction, tell you exactly how to do it. It gives you coaches tips. It gives you instruction how to do it. It gives you step by step to take your career from wherever you are to the mountaintop. So you can have an extraordinary, remarkable, amazing career. Now go down below and click on that link to get that free game plan. It will serve you well. So there you go, my friend. Hey, if you like this video, I know it was a long video. I'm super sorry. If you like this video, please click on the like button and share this video with everybody you know in the marketplace. Normally I say share with 3 or 4 or 5 people. No. Not this time. You share with every lady, every woman you know in the marketplace, every person you know in the marketplace. Because if you're trying to get to the mountaintop, this was a special video for people who are already knowing what they want to do and getting into the marketplace. You are already a leader. You are already a manager, a director, a C-suiter. You are trying to get to the next level. If that's you, this is directly for you. You share this video with everybody that you know. And as always, in the comment field, give me your comments. Let me know if this was too long. I know it was probably too long, but give me your comments. Any question you have on the 5 rules or your core or your career or anything, I'm here to talk to you. I will tell you, there's no question that you cannot ask me that I would not have the answer for, because I'm Darnell Clarke, the answer man. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel, and at the side of it there's a bell. Click on that bell so you can always know when I come up with fresh new content. You'll get notified. So there you go, my friend. That's how you play the corporate game. If you don't know the corporate game, you will never be successful. Here's my final tip. You had to eye the tiger, my friend. You got the eye of the tiger. Listen, the people the person you're going against are white men, and they are lions. They're king of the jungle. They're king of the jungle, and nothing around them can ever serve what they bring to the marketplace. But lions are always in packs. They always like to do everything in pack. If you in a bush and if you see a lion, know this: there are some other lions strategically placed to take you out. That's the same way in corporate America. They are the king of the jungle, and they are always together, and they are roaming in packs, but not you. You are a tiger. You have the eye of the tiger, my friend. Tigers do not run in pack. Tigers are bigger and stronger and faster and more agile than lions. And if a tiger ever go against a lion, a tiger would trump and eat a lion up, would beat a lion each and every time. You, my friend, are a lion. You have the eye of the tiger. You go get it. There's nothing else to do but you go get it. It's your responsibility to know this corporate game in which you are playing or are you about to play. You should do your very best, right, to engage it, but you never try to go into an organization and change the culture. You never do it. You learn by the rules and regulations. You follow the rules and regulations of your coaches and your mentors and your sponsors. Everything you try to do is become the most valuable player of the game. But if you choose to not play this game like you're supposed to, not listen to your mentors, not listen to your sponsors, your coaches, don't be shy and be surprised that you're going to find yourself on the bench or cut from the team altogether. Remember, whether you think you need it or not, you have an extra strategy so you can always fall and land on your feet. And please know this, nothing is more demoralizing, frustrating, downright burdensome to remain at a job in an organization that does not value you, respect, or reward your hard work for making them successful. Life too short for all that, man. Life too short that you wake up every single day knowing that your value you bring to an organization is unappreciated. So right now, today, if it's to be, it's up to you. There's nothing that is more important than you go get it. There's one thing I know for sure, my friend, that whatever you want in life, you got to go get it. There is no other way. You got to go get it. So your mantra should be from this moment on, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And if you go get it, if you have the eye of the tiger and you let nothing by any means stop you, never give in, never give up, never stop trying until you get to the top. And if you do, and if you go get it, then I see you. And yes, I do mean you at the top.